This is Raven Dana, and welcome to Walking Between the Worlds. It is Friday, August 4th, 2023. And yes, I know it's been almost 4 months since I put anything up. I'm so sorry for the delay, and I'm just going to tell you briefly that I've had 4 of the most intense months of my life, that it was very, very stressful, and everything is fine now. And in short, there are a lot of changes that have gone on in my life and in my family. My daughter and granddaughter have moved out of state, 2,200 miles away to be exact. And although at the time those changes were occurring, it was very stressful and anxiety-ridden and all of those things, because change is hard. And there were some circumstances and situations, as there are around those things, that were especially difficult to manage. It's all good now. My daughter is doing really well. My granddaughter is happy, and for as much as I miss them and will miss them, I am very happy that they're happy, and that they have found what they were looking for in their new location. Now, in addition to the amount of time and effort and energy that was consumed by this, I also had a pretty significant physical issue going on with my asthma because of all of the air coming down, right, the burning coming down from Canada. So the smoke in the air really did a number on me. So there were many days where I thought, well, I'll sit and try to record something. But by the end of the day, I had no voice. And if you listen, you'll still I have a little bit of a frog still in there. I was using my inhaler way too much, many times a day. And even at that, it wasn't doing as much good as it should have. So in any event, I'm back, and I'm happy to be here with you. And it's not lost on me that, the coincidence that I had no voice was related to the feeling that I had no voice in the circumstance, in the situation that I was in, which was, again, very interesting and stressful. And I'm glad that we're past all that, and everybody is where they need to be now. I thought I'd talk with you today some about the congressional hearing on UAPs. And I don't know what your personal experience is. I don't know if you watched it or not. But there are a couple of takeaways that I had. And one of them is that if the government persists in making the UAPs all about a threat to our security, and the focus of attention is on the thought, well, we didn't tell the general population because we didn't want them to panic, because after all, there's nothing that we know of that we have that can defend us against whatever this is. I just want you to think about that. Most of the UAP phenomena and the interactions, not just with what we see in the sky, but what comes and interacts with humans in other ways, has occurred to the average person, not the higher ups in government. This is not a phenomenon designed to interfere deliberately, I think, with the government in any way, except perhaps, as they state, they do have an interest, or a seeming interest, in missiles and in atomic research, or atomic bombs. Well, and probably for good reason, because we foolish humans are likely to blow ourselves off the planet, because we're not all that smart about taking each other out. So again, I imagine that the argument about, well, how could these, whatever they are, be coming from, somewhere across the galaxy? Well, first of all, they could be, wormholes and all that. But what if they're not? What if they're in a sidestep dimension? What if some of the ships that we see are more than craft? What if they are life forms? Or what if what we're seeing is something emerging from the future? If some of the experiences that we have to do with ourselves in the future, coming back in time to help us correct some things before we take ourselves off the face of the earth. Any of these things could be equally true. I'm not voting for one over the others. In fact, all three of them may be true. We may have UAPs that are coming from far away. We may have others that are crossing over through gateways and through wormholes and portals from other dimensions. And we certainly may have some that are a reflection of our own evolved selves from the future, returning to see what they can do to preserve us as a species. So, look, here's what I do know also. If this was actually a threat, if there was an intention to take us out, probably would have happened long ago, or at least happened by now. Because let's face it, not only are these beings technologically advanced, they're also obviously physiologically advanced. They have whatever it takes to step aside from whatever we throw at them. They have whatever it takes to mess with our equipment. They have whatever it takes to communicate with us directly. And if, again, there was something deliberate going on, I imagine that instead of finding cattle in the field, we'd be finding humans in the fields, and that's not what's occurring here. So I just want to draw a line in the sand, I guess, about the conversation that we need to pay attention to the UAP information because it's a threat to national security. No. I believe that each of us, all of us little people on the ground, we need to pay attention to the phenomena and be more open to learning about other people's experiences because it's first contact. Because there's the possibility here that we can learn to communicate and relate to beings that are not human beings from our time and space. This is enormous, right? Proof that we have not and have never been alone in the universe. It is a marvelous thing. It is an incredible thing. And so I'm going to encourage you to think along those lines and to look to the sky perhaps a little more, and not to jump to the conclusions, not to be racing off to tell stories about something that, you think is a UAP that's, probably a satellite. But just to be more open in your awareness to talking to the people in your own circle, to hearing their stories, and to being a good observer and a good listener when it comes to this communication. Because I think there's a tremendous amount here for us to learn, not just about whatever is happening with the UAPs, but also about what's happening among us. We human beings connecting, joining together for our own well-being is certainly more valuable and more important than trying to figure out a way to knock UAPs out of the sky. It's a mistake. If you've ever seen The Day the Earth Stood Still, not that I'm saying it's exactly like that, but I am saying that the tendency that we have for attacking or killing what we don't understand, or that which isn't like us, is a mistake. And that's not, we don't want, I don't want that kind of first contact to be in the hands of a government that looks at the UAP phenomena only and primarily as a threat. So I'm interested in your experiences and your comments. I'm interested in knowing how you feel about this, because if you watch those witnesses, you could see that they felt threatened, that their lives, at least one of them, right, life endangered by coming forward with the information. And there's plenty that we're still not going to find out because it's hidden at very, very deep levels of the government. So we have to rely on each other to bring the information forward and to actually open up the conversation in our regular circles of awareness. And that's the thought I'm leaving you with today. We are not alone. We have never been alone, and many of us have known that for most of our lives. Okay, I'm going to sign off because, again, I'm losing my voice. But I will come back on later today, and I will post a meditation, and then I'll post another meditation tomorrow. And I promise, from here on out, I'll be back in having conversations and doing classes on a regular basis. Once a week at least, I'll post a YouTube and at least one meditation. So I'm back. I'm happy to be back, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And for now, I'll see you between the worlds. Bye now.